Hey guys, good morning. Happy Sunday to you. I'm getting on here because today is the new moon of Libra. And so I wanted to do a channel message for you all to kind of help you to set the right intentions. There's no such thing as the right intentions, but right for you, to give you some guidance, push you on your path to figuring out maybe what the right intentions look like for you for this new moon. With new moons and full moons, it's the phases, it's opportunities for, with full moons for releasing, with new moons for new beginnings, new starts, new opportunities, new chances to do things differently. With the new moon of Libra, we're going to find ourselves more in an energy where we might feel triggers or things happening in our life that are helping us to attain more balance in the different areas, or maybe even we just feel innate in us, like this sense of, I feel like I need to have more balance in my life in certain ways. And so that energy, which has actually kind of been in flow for, it's basically the energy starts like 48 hours before the new moon and then 48 hours after it. But as the energy is building, it, gets to the pinnacle on the day of the new moon. Now, mind you, I say all this, but the moon cycles, like the moon is always full if you think about it, right? It's just how it's appearing to us. So it's really an interesting dynamic to understand that, and then also to see it as something, that's not happening all the time, but happening in phases. So it's like a twofold way, which is why it's so important to be willing to explore and look at multiple perspectives, because when you can get out of the one tracked mind approach of it's just this one thought, what you'll find is that there's actually multiple layers and levels to how you can look at situations, look at things, experiences, whatever is happening in the world, your life, etc. So the key is like, finding those other perspectives and being willing to let go of the attachment you have to the one perspective to entertain the others. It's not about like we should spend more time in observation of our perspectives instead of clinging to them with a death grip. But that's a process, and it's new habits that one has to create, and one has to want to create those habits, right? But with the new moon in general, it's that energy of new beginnings. So it's the opportunity to set your intentions, to say what's something different that I would like to do today, that, or moving forward in this month, that maybe I have wanted to do, or it's been in my mind and I just haven't done it. Okay. So like that's the opportunity. And when it comes around, it's like, hey, you can consider like the new moon phase to be like your alarm, your reminder. Hey, it's a new moon again, new beginnings. You want to do that thing that you were thinking about? It's, now you can do it, right? Or now I'm reminding you, hey, do you want to do it again? Do you want to revisit it? I find that the universe is constantly bringing, like everything happens in cycles. And I feel like the universe is constantly cycling us back to different opportunities. It cycles back. And it's like every time the universe is like, okay, what about now? Like, would you like to do it? It's like a parent would, like if a parent knows, like, okay, if you think about like a parent, they are an adult and they have a wide range of experiences. So when a child is fixated on one thing, the adult will say, what about this? So the parent is actually presenting different perspectives to the child. Well, the universe does the same thing for us in our lives. We don't have to accept what's given to us as the only path, the only fact. This is truth, this is fact, this is it. You don't have to accept that. You can challenge it. You can say, well, you know what, but I want this instead. And understand that you are worthy and deserving to have it. You just have to work on yourself if you have if self-worth is something that you've struggled with. Many of us have. I don't know that I've met one person that maybe there's not an insecurity of self-worth. And that is because of the society we live in, because we are constantly being judged and ridiculed. And there's, it's like for a long time, the culture it was wrong for you to be who you are. It was better for you to acclimate to mold yourself, to sculpt yourself to be just like everybody else. And so like for me being an Aquarius, that was always hard. Like Aquarians in general, we're just weird people and we have to own our weirdness. But for a long time, that can be a self-worth, self-value trigger because you're out there and people judge you for that, and then you think it's you. It's not you, it's their discomfort. It's a lack of ability to entertain different perspectives, to say it's okay that people are different. It's okay that people, have a different way of thinking or living or wanting to experience life. Like that has to be okay. The world would be so boring if everybody had the same beliefs, the same ideas, and wanted to do the same damn thing. It would just be, there would be no mixing, no opportunity for new experiences. So with the Libra energy, which Libra is governed by, its planetary ruler is Venus. So, the Venus energy, the Venusian energy is there as well as the opportunity to bring more love into our lives in a balanced way. Maybe it's how you are handling your relationships with people, all people, not just, romantic or otherwise. Maybe the balance is in how you're loving yourself. Maybe this is now that energy, that calling, that wake up call that says, how can I love myself more? And self-love is a process. I know for me, that was a long journey to get there because as a child growing up with so many opposing viewpoints about my behavior, my way of beingness, it hurt, like I'm super sensitive. It would hurt me to the core. And so that the part of my brain as a child for self-preservation said, well, if, it hurts too much to not be liked by others. So if I hate myself, maybe it'll hurt less when others do it. And that was something I embodied at a very, very young age. I didn't even know how old I was, but it's sad that, I went through that. It's sad for me. Like, I think it's sad, but I also, bigger perspective, multiple layers of perspective, also understand I couldn't be this beacon of light today had I not gone through everything I went through. So don't get me wrong. But this is a lesson, right? So this, what I'm showing you is actually something really important because I'm showing you that you can honor your feelings about something, but then you can also entertain other perspectives. You don't have to attach and cling to that. If I cling to that, that's going to make me feel shitty. I'm going to cry. I'm going to do all this stuff. And trust me, I have no problems crying in front of anybody. Actually, no, I don't know. I might take that back. When I'm being authentic, especially if it's like somebody else's pain and being such an empath, and I'm helping support them, I will cry with them. That's you'll see me cry like that. If it's my own stuff, if I'm in a really vulnerable space, I have to retreat. So you probably wouldn't see me cry because I don't know, like there's, I think, underlying need to protect myself in that moment. And, so these are the things you have to, like, you take that time to understand about yourself. These are the things I understand about myself because I've spent so much time working to understand myself. You just ask yourself questions. Why do I respond like that? Why do I act like this? Then you don't have to have the answer to that. Get on Google. Say, what does it mean if X, Y, and Z? And you know what? Opinions are like assholes, so you know that there's going to be a lot of content that'll have different varying views, which is great for you because then what you get to do is discern using your inner guidance, using your intuition, and say which one of these explanations resonates with me. See, you don't have to know it up here. You can feel it. You can feel into what you're reading about and say, does that feel good to me? If it doesn't feel good to you, then it's not yours. It's not your explanation. But this was how I went through my process to understand myself. I also used astrology charts to understand myself. I used Enneagram reports, which are ridiculously amazing. I find it's extremely more accurate than using the Myers-Briggs. You could do the Myers-Briggs. There's so many tools out there that are like personality stuff that will ask questions that will help clarify certain things. But all of these different methodologies it's like understanding the psychology of who you are. the human design. That one is also really profound. So with each one of those tools, I have gained greater and greater insight into myself. And they're all available for you to use. You have to pay for certain aspects. There's plenty of free astrology websites, and I'll actually, in the description, I'll go ahead and I'll post the link for the Enneagram, which is like $10 or something. It's great. And then 2 of the astrology websites that I like to use, they're free. And once you you do need to know your time of birth, but if you don't know your time of birth, it's still okay. You can still get certain information that will be beneficial to you. And they're free. And you just scroll down and there's descriptions. But even with astrology sites, guys, this is really important. There's no one set interpretation. See, this is where I think balance is something, I think we don't talk about balance and how we balance our thoughts. And I feel like the universe, this channeled message for you today, is not about just the physical balancing of things in your life, but it's about balancing your thoughts and your perspectives. It's about being able to not fixate on one line of thinking, but instead being able to expand that vision and look at multiple variations. And why is that? Well, because we live in a world of infinite possibilities. You know, quantum mechanics, science has proven. And it's funny because the cat's litter box, litter robot is in motion. And as we're sitting here talking about science, we're talking about perspectives, that it's moving. So movement, shifting. So that's the whole thing here. It's like being able to shift out of one perspective, attaching emotionally to one truth, and instead recognizing there's a multiple variety of other possibilities. If that one truth doesn't feel good and it's making you feel like shit, stop attaching to it and holding on to it with a death grip. Be willing to shift, to move into other variations of possibilities, ones that will feel better. That's balance. It's balancing your perspective. And what it does is it actually will bring you more peace, because it's being able to say, you know what? It's not an impossibility. And I'm going to segue into that because one of the Moonology Oracle cards that came out for this video was believe in the impossible. Why do we believe in the impossible? Because we live in a world of infinite realities. There's an infinite number of possibilities. So if you believe in the impossible, you're detaching from this one stream of outcome and instead being willing to see that there's other possibilities for how things can be done. And that's the balance that the universe is calling on you to start to practice. Listen, minding your mind is creating new habits, to saying it's okay. You have to give yourself permission. People don't realize this. You have to give yourself permission. You have to think about what you've gone through and say, you know what? I'm going to give myself permission to not attach to this one line and be willing to entertain and explore other lines of thought. And if you need help with that, I'm here for you. You can book an appointment. I'd be happy to work with you. I am a mindset coach. I'm a healer. I do many things. I use different modalities. I can do it by video, or you can come to my home if, you know, the drive is reasonable for you. Also, you want help with being able to mind your mind and, how do you shift your thoughts and things and let go of the certain perspectives. I have a subliminal that is available on my channel that's called Letting Go of Attachment. And that one, combined with the anxiety subliminal that I have on my channel, and some of the others that are going to be coming out, you could just have yourself a little playlist. Just keep playing them as much as possible, because what'll happen is it'll actually clear out any programming in your subconscious that is preventing you from being able to maybe shift your perspectives and see the bigger picture and the other possibilities. So the next card is the answers you need are coming. And again, I feel like this connects back to believing in the impossible and shifting your perspective and bringing it into balance. Because when you are able to detach from the one line, if the one line is where you're stuck, there's only one way, and that is to take the path of least resistance. It's to let go of the thought. When you do that, a world of creative thought and more ideas will be able to come in because your mind won't be as clouded with this one fixation. And you'll be able to get the answers that you've been looking for. And if that's not the way, then the universe will also be providing it via some other mode. But the key is let go of attachment. When you let go and you're not holding on to something, it doesn't matter what it is, a thought, an idea with a death grip, this can't work because this can't, shift it. Instead of talking about what can't, talk about what can. Again, it's really about making a decision to being willing to let go of whatever you're clinging to, whatever idea you're clinging to. Be willing to see that maybe you're just going to have to do things a little differently. I started out with my wanting to manifest like financial abundance, and I was fixated on how I wanted to manifest it. And then one day something came to me and I said, you know what? Why am I so fixated on this way? If I live in a world of infinite possibilities, then that means there's an infinite number of ways that I can have money come to me. And so maybe if I just let go of that idea, more would come to me. And that's the power of surrendering. And sure enough, that's what's happened. Money just flows, and it's like, why are you doing that? Well, sure, shit ain't working super hard or anything. It's minding your mind. This is hard work. This is the hard fucking work. Forget the physical stuff. But minding your damn thoughts and the self-sabotaging ideas and the negative thoughts and stuff that's the hard work. To shift that, to redirect that to a positive. Like that's where the work is. And it's intense, but it's so fucking worth it. That's the whole thing. It is so worth it. It gives you everything you want. You literally have to do the opposite thing of what you want. You can't keep busting your head against a wall and think that the wall is going to fall down, especially if it's brick, and you're going to like end up with a concussion. So instead, path of least resistance, let it go. Redirect your energy to something else. Okay, so then the next card is push through any insecurity. And again, see the synchronicities, all the cards are pretty much on theme saying the same thing. The discomforts you may have around, letting go of these attachments and things like that, those are fears. It's because of the fear. It's the fear of, not having control. It's the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown is a big one, which is what leads to the control issues. And so if you can understand, why do I fear the unknown? Because you can't control it. Because in your subconscious, there are negative thoughts feeding forward that's saying the unknown is bad. Something bad can happen. Well, something good can also happen. And whatever you choose to fixate on is more of what you're going to experience. So why not take the risk to be focused on the good things happening instead of the bad? Like, why not take that risk? What is the worst that's going to happen? The good damn thing is going to happen. And the worst case scenario is it doesn't, but at least you're pushing through your insecurities and stepping out of your comfort zone to work through it. And I promise you it will work. It may just require more energy. It depends on how negative your mind and your thoughts has been, I think I talked about this in another video. If the pendulum has been going in one direction all this time, Newton's law, whatever motion, once in motion stays in motion. It's going to require a lot of opposing energy to redirect it. You just have to keep at it and don't give up, which goes back to what? Believe in the impossible. It is possible. Okay, and the last message had me a little stumped, so I asked for a clarifying card, but it was the first quarter moon in Leo, which said, be humble. Well, I think that actually now that I'm talking and I'm channeling, one of what's coming through is being humble is again, I think it goes back to this clinging to one thing. I know, but that type of mentality where you're just clinging and clinging. No. Be humble, surrender. What the clarifying card that came out was the voice of truth. So to me, this was also saying, Instead of you focusing externally, maybe looking for validation from others. So you're like constantly talking about this and that, whatever's going on, you know, in whatever manner you're speaking about it, if it's boasting or whatever, like it doesn't matter. The universe is calling on you to be more authentic in yourself. You know, be your own truth, be your own source of truth, validate yourself. You know, really align your thoughts with, you know, with a knowing, you know, build your trust in what you're able to create for yourself. And if you're not sure what you can create for yourself, just look at your life and look at the good things that you've created for yourself, and then look at the bad things, because you created those for yourself too. And I know that's a really hard concept. For some people, it seems almost impossible to grasp, especially when it's bad things, because we'll question and say, how in the hell did I create that for myself? Well, remember what I was saying about things operating in layers, and that's what happens with what we're experiencing. There's multiple reasons and layered factors at the core, you know, at the top level of, you know, that you know, 12th dimensional mindset. It's you are the universe experiencing itself. So everything that you are experiencing, you as the universe has created, good or bad. And I say this all the time. Experiences are neither good or bad. We are labeling them good or bad based on how it made us feel. But the experience had a purpose. They all have a purpose. And some of them really suck ass. And I know this. There's really, really bad ones. And so, and we have to empathize, and we have to honor those feelings of what those people go through, what you go through, what I go through in those times of the darkest dark. They don't feel good at all. And it can be very painful. But on the other side of that, the universe wanted to have these experiences. This is why the universe is expanding, because as it experiences different, you know, types of scenarios, it does. And, you know, people might say, but why would the universe want to experience horrific stuff? I don't know. I'm in a human form. I can't answer that. I just know it's true. Like that's, you know, that's the channeled part of it. This is what, you know, what comes through. This is what, you know, resonates, that, if we're all a little spark of the divine, and, you know, we're having these different experiences and this opportunity to, you know, what we're going to do with it. But I know that probably my feelings about it is that because of balance, okay, like you know, we live in a world of duality. There has to be polarity. So you cannot have the light without the dark. So that would account for the really bad, the really nasty, the really dark shit. Because you have to have the balance. It's the yin and yang energy. So yeah, so that's your channel new moon of Libra message. You guys go out there, set your intentions, and go live your best lives. All right, namaste.